Hey, everybody.
Hey, folks. Good evening. So I was in the process of typing. Rick says I make too much noise when I type, so he's commanded me to put myself on mute when I type, so it doesn't bother him. It's like those production issues I got to put up with from a design perfectionist, I guess it is. So
So, how is everybody doing tonight? I don't even have the show notes pulled up yet.
So we have got in here, MB Heritage was in here early. So was Tina Ladybug, Flavors and Textures. I know Paula Wells was in here a little bit earlier. The wonderful Madame Boone Child is in here. Welcome, Boone. Michael Harris. Michael, I was actually able to communicate with that family on I just basically left another message on another video about their chickens, and I got an immediate response. So I appreciate the heads up on that. Twin Brook Acres, welcome, sir. So I got a great email from Rick Vincent at Twin Brook Acres. If you guys have not checked out his channel, he's a relatively small channel. I think I've been following him for a long time because he was engaged in a project that really intrigued me. But he's got a great backstory as to why he won our giveaway last week or 2 weeks ago on the sign that hangs out in my garage. That was my dad's workshop, and so it was great to read that. I'll be honest with you, Rick, it kind of choked me up a little bit reading your response as to why you could connect with that. So
it did not choke me up, but I can tell you that the entire time that I read it, I was smiling ear to ear because I could feel, I don't know, I guess I could feel like the connection between you two with your emails. It's very similar.
Yeah, so thank you for the email. That made my day. I already talked about Tina Ladybug. Welcome. Flavors and Textures. We got Nuffin Edited. So Nuffin, I didn't do it, but I'm going to do another one, and this was in tribute to you. I come in from working out in the garden structure last weekend, and I'm like really hungry, and I wanted something quick, and I got thinking about, I don't know why this is going to sound like a very odd statement, but I got thinking about you, and if all I had was limited amount of whatever, and I had to make me a meal, what would I use? So I took 2 cans of ramen noodles and put it into a bowl, put some water into it, and then a can of sardines, and dumped those into that bowl, put some Cajun pepper spice in there, put it in the microwave, and it was a really good meal. I'm glad no one come in because they would have looked at me like I was an absolute weirdo with my ramen noodles and sardine soup.
But it's all good, you are.
But it was really good. So welcome, Nuffin Edited. We got the I don't know if it's the infamous or notorious Big John from Will It Grow in here. Welcome, John. Jules, go Navy at the LaLa Farm. Welcome, sir. Who else we got? I think that covered Resonance Homestead. Jess, welcome. Loved your little goat video that you put out this week. That was very heartfelt, very thoughtful. I enjoyed watching that. So I think I covered everybody. Rick will have to catch the others as they come in. So want to do a shout out, as always, to our moderators. I don't see Jan in here yet, but simply Jan Homestead, Highland Homestead. I don't see Eva in here yet. Paula Wells, as always, is in here, ready to go to work. So Paula, thank you very much, as is MB Heritage. They were in here, I would say, like 15 minutes till the hour. So Michael and/or Bobby, thank you much. And then Tony Walsh from Walsh Farms. Don't see Tony in here yet. He generally comes in a little bit later. Got still in ya. Welcome, sir. I think I caught everybody. You got a joke, Rick?
I do. What or why was the robot so tired after his road trip?
Why was the robot so tired after his road trip?
Come on, Dad, because he had a hard drive.
That's ridiculously stupid.
Oh, I got another one. Hold on. I found another one the other day.
So these are a stupid dad jokes calendar that he got from Madeline for Christmas.
I love it though. Did you
cute.
hear the rumor about butter?
No. You got creamed?
All right, no. I'm not gonna spread it.
All right,
I'm done.
That's
Hey,
enough.
Dad,
That's enough. That's enough.
what's on your hat?
All right. So my hat this week, I'm back to the United States Navy. And this hat is actually a used hat from a former sailor, still a sailor, formerly served on the USS Century MCM-3, which is a mine countermeasure. That's the Navy's fancy term for a minesweeper in the Persian Gulf. So this hat belonged to my son, the doc, or the corpsman, or son-in-law on the USS Century. Just got back from the Persian Gulf about 3 months ago. So my connection with the USS Century is, as you know, I try to support the military however we can, whether that is going to a care package to soldiers on the ground in the Middle East, or to, in this case, it was my daughter-in-law was the pack leader for the Brownies. A little, I guess it's like a subdivision of Girl Scouts.
Daughter.
What did I say?
Daughter-in-law.
Oh, my daughter was a Brownies leader, and she was forced into the role of selling Girl Scout cookies. So, like my daughter, she does nothing halfway. It is full bore all the way, all the time. And so I got the idea of, it was always great when I was in the Navy that we would get care packages out of the blue from people that we didn't know, or holiday cards, anything that kind of helped us remember home. So what LaLa and I did is we sent 2 boxes of Girl Scout cookies to every single crew member of the USS Century. So it was, now that sounds like really impressive, but it's a very small vessel. There's only 80 people on it. So it was about 160 boxes. So they ended up, I don't know how they got there, but it only took about 2.5 weeks to go from Jacksonville, Florida to Bahrain and then to the USS Century. And my son-in-law said those cookies were gone in about 6 hours. So wasted no time. So now flash forward about 4 weeks from the time that we sent those, maybe 4 or 5 weeks after we sent those cookies to the USS Century. I got a package in the mail from the USS Century with this flag. Now, you would say, well, what is the significance of the flag? Or I would. So this is the letter that I got also from the commanding officer of the USS Century that says, this is to certify the United States flag accompanying this certificate, bent on the main mast, halyard, and proudly flown aboard the USS Century on January 26, 2020. It was luffed by the salty breezes of the Arabian Gulf and hued by the sun over Naval Station Bahrain in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So this goes in our china cabinet, and this is one of the first things, once I can go back to working in my shop this summer, I'm building a case for that flag, and that will probably be hung in my workshop, or possibly even in here, or maybe in my office, or maybe behind me. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but that will be in there. So always, as I always do each week, I want to send out just a heartfelt thank you for all prior service members, all current service members serving anywhere in any branch of the armed forces, and any of the young people who believe that they may go or are going into the military in service of this great country. Thank you.
Isn't that ship something special about it? Isn't it have a lot of wood on it?
Yeah, the minesweepers, as you would imagine, and I thought that they had kind of gone past this, but when I was in the Navy, the minesweepers could hardly leave the pier from Mayport Station, Jacksonville, or Mayport Naval Station, because they were just very, very unreliable and made of wood. Well, now to this day, here in 2021, the minesweepers that the United States Navy uses are still made of wood, so that they have very little electronic signature. But they're the ones that go out ahead of the fleet, searching for mines. And people would say, well, there's still mines in the waters today even. If you remember back, several weeks ago, I highlighted the USS Roberts, which was a guided missile frigate, early 90s, late 80s. And that's how that ship was struck. It struck a mine in the shipping channel in the Persian Gulf, and that's what damaged it. So yeah, it's a real thing.
My 3 times great uncle was President Grant.
Who said
He
that?
would thank you for that.
Oh,
Rick.
Wells. That's cool.
That is cool.
That's very, very cool. Very cool.
So we got a couple more people in here. It looks like we're going to be starting off the Get to Know Them segment with about 20 people. I'm sure more people will follow in after that. Hickory Croft, I think they were in here towards the beginning as well.
Hickory Croft, I didn't get an email back from you guys. I emailed you last week, but I didn't get a response from you. Check your email if you would and get back with me.
Yep. So I can't remember exactly who all. Renaissance.
Got Kid Family Farm in here now.
Keto Homestead with Jess. Miss Voon. Flavors and Textures.
Got Mac in here from Kid Family Farm.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get on with the show. So tonight we have a channel that we first met, been probably 5-6 weeks or so ago, and they're regularly in here on our live show every Wednesday night. And I got Paul Conrad from Conrad Homestead reached out to me several weeks ago and said, we would love to have you on our Wednesday night live. So without further ado, we have Conrad Homestead. Welcome, folks.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
We had a chance to chat very briefly, before we started the live, and I told them, I was hoping that they would bring the kids in as well, because, you never know what kids are going to say, and I love having kids in here because they're so brutally honest.
Yeah.
So, the adults might try to sugarcoat things. The kids don't ever sugarcoat anything. It is what it is. So, well, welcome, folks. Introduce yourselves.
I am Paul, and this is my wife, Berenice. The one standing, David, he is the oldest, and his twin sister, Victoria, they are 12 years old. And Caspian, the youngest, our 10-year-old, is right next to me in blue.
What is your wife's name?
Berenice.
I'm not gonna even. What is that? What do you have? Do you have a shorter version?
Yeah, well, I go by V sometimes because I realize my name's a little difficult. So V.
May
I'm about to say, I'm just
use
going to call you
that.
T.
May we use your name as V? Because I'm gonna butcher that. I know I will. So Conrad Homestead, you guys have, when I checked this morning, you were at 433 subscribers. So well done, well done. Your first video came up on April 3rd of 2017. Do you know what that was?
Yeah, that was a rainwater catchment video. Yep.
I gotta tell you, when I watched, because I go back and I kind of start at the old stuff, because it's really amazing. When you go and you kind of start checking out a new channel to kind of learn about them, always start at the old stuff and work your way forward, because you will kind of see what they do on YouTube, how it evolves over time, and how much more efficient and how much more effective they become at presenting their message. So, but I must say, you were pretty effective back then. So you've got to have some form of public speaking in your background, Paul, because you're a good presenter.
I've done a lot of teaching.
Okay, well, there you go. I knew it. At what level, adults or kids?
Mostly kids in middle school age.
Oh my goodness, God bless you. So I always thought it'd be cool to be a teacher, but I couldn't work with young kids. And if I did, it would have to be like elementary kids before all the bad habits are developed.
Miss Paula Wells asked, "Is that Malaysian by chance?" The name?
Oh, my name? It's actually it's Italian.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know exactly where my mom got it from. My name, I guess the original is Bernice, and then she added a whole bunch to it, and it kind of became more of an Italian name. Because my twin sister's name is Vanessa, so she tweaked my name to kind of go with her.
Okay.
So I could manage Vanessa. I could handle that without trying to shorten it to me.
You know what's interesting is when my mom wanted to change my name, I was younger. My name was Lisa, and my twin sister's name was Elisa. And then when I was about 5, they decided to change our name, and she gave me a list of names, and I chose Berenice. So I thought that was a bit interesting. I don't know how that worked out, but
That's cool. That's cool. So you wouldn't know this, Paul, but I've been looking at, 4 years or so, you kind of look at these containers, and I've seen those IBC totes on like Craigslist and various places. They sell those IBC totes. I never really bothered looking at those IBC totes closely because what I've always had in my brain, stuck in my brain, is I knew they had a hole and a lid on the top that was screwed on. I didn't know there was a side discharge on those totes, or I wouldn't have agonized over this for the last 4 years, because that's why I haven't bought them for my rain catchment, because I'm wondering, how do you plumb that? How do you put a pipe in the side of it? And you kind of demonstrated exactly how to do that in that one video. So
I also made another video about it's called a universal adapter. So there's actually 3 different types of pipe threads that are possible on those. So you do have to kind of be mindful when you purchase those that you know what you can adapt it from or to.
So there's 3 different thread types, or 3 different adapters from the disc. Do they all come with a valve on them?
They all
discharge
do.
Out of the side?
Yes, it's at the very bottom.
Very cool. That might be a great way, because I was thinking about just using regular barrels for the greenhouse water catchment. I might just have to use one of those. That would, I'd imagine you got to paint them. I think you said that in your first one, so you don't get algae growth. Is that right?
Yeah, especially in the southern climates, the UV light from the sun will really break them down pretty quickly.
So Sonny's Place says, I think that having teaching experience with kids would help break down how-to videos into a simpler, easy to understand. Well, yeah, Sonny, that's exactly my point. Is when I was watching Paul, the very first video that he did, a lot of times, people are they struggle with those really early videos because this is completely new to them, and talking to and at people is difficult, but you handled it with grace, man.
Yeah, so the origination of the YouTube channel was, I was at a gardening class in Tucson, Arizona, and my wife, she was at a book club meeting. So myself and my kids, we went to this gardening class that was put on by the University of Arizona, and we're with a group of about 15 people, and after the group, we were all kind of hanging around together, and one of the guys was talking about possible rain catchment systems. So I mentioned to him about this IVC tote, and he kept telling me, why don't you make a YouTube video about it? Why don't you, the information that you're telling me I've never heard. So then after a couple weeks had gone by, I got a couple more questions about it. So then I was like, I'm going to do that just so that there's a reference that I can refer people to, and I can just tell them, hey, why don't you go watch this YouTube video? I explained everything, and then people can use it as they want to.
Castle Hive says channel says no content. Brian, they got lots of content. I don't know, maybe you got the wrong. So just it's Conrad space Homestead, right, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they got.
Yeah,
lots
there's
of
only
content.
one channel there.
Yeah, there's when I think when you search it, you guys are the only one that even comes up as a partial match. So Sonny's Place says, I try to keep that in mind when I shoot my DIY videos. I don't have teaching experience, but I have kids. Well, Sonny, I was watching your live the other day, and I can tell you that you're a natural at speaking. She was doing it's a butter stirring stick or spoon. I'm not sure. So, but she was carving it out of wood. And I said, well, how'd you figure out how to do this? And she basically, was inspired by another channel, Anne of All Trades. And she's basically a craftsperson that had very significant ADHD issues as a child and has kind of found her way through different types of crafts, whether that be woodworking or all this stuff. So it's really kind of a cool channel. But yeah, Sonny, you're pretty good at presenting as well. So, but that's a significant struggle for. Go ahead, V. You guys you got me all right?
Yeah, we had a little pop-up that said there was new comments, so we didn't know what's going on.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you where are you guys located at?
So we're just outside of Glasgow, Kentucky, which is basically in the southeastern part of Kentucky. We're about 30 minutes directly east of Glasgow. We're in a little town. It's only 300 population. We're about 30 minutes from the Tennessee border, north of Tennessee.
Okay. So you guys have probably lived in Kentucky your whole lives, haven't you?
No.
Nope.
Well, it sounds like you've had quite the journey. Tell us about that.
So we were, both my wife and I were born and raised in southern Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. And we got married this year. We'll be married for 14 years. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So 14 years ago, we got married. And shortly into that, I'd say probably about 3 years into that, we were in a very overpriced home. We bought our home at the top of the housing bubble. The bubble hadn't bursted yet. So we got stuck with a almost $200,000 home that after the bubble burst was only worth about $80,000. There was a bunch of homes being sold in that price range. So at that point in time, we reevaluated and really said to ourselves, do we want to be slaves to our possessions, our home? We didn't have a new car. We've always driven used cars, but we had this house, and it really was bothering us once we did the amortization calculator and figured out that, by the time we had paid off this home, we'd be paying really close to $500,000 on this house. So that was kind of like our light bulb moment. That's really what woke us up and said, hey, you know what? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Do you want to continue, doing this? So we sat down and we came up with a short-term plan, which included buying a manufactured home, a used mobile home. We got a loan from actually my wife's grandfather, and we were able to purchase it. And then we paid him back for that mobile home, and we were able to pay that off in 3 years.
Wow! So
the plan was to be debt free as soon as possible. So a lot of the things that we do and try to encourage other people to do on our channel, and this is one of the very many parts of homesteading to us, is to limit expenses. So, from early on, my wife and I have been learning how to, do things as economical as possible. So go ahead.
I think what you're doing, it will have such incredible ripple effects on all of your children, is because it's amazing to me how we live really in a throwaway society today. You buy things, you throw them away. I mean, there was, I could go on. This would be a soapbox. I could stay on this soapbox for hours upon hours upon hours, but I won't do that. But I can't applaud you more for kind of having, kind of reevaluating what's important in life, because I think a lot of people go through life. They reach a point. They get out of their 20s. They get into their 30s, maybe early 40s. The late bloomers, maybe into their 50s, and they start really realizing, this is. This whole picture in my head, this fantasy that was in my head of what my life was going to be, really can never be achieved, ever. And, take a step back.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And if it ever will be achieved, what is it going to cost me? And, so that's a huge thing, to be able to kind of pause life and make the radical changes that you guys have to kind of change direction completely. So where were you before?
So we were located in
She just raised her eyebrows. She just raised her eyebrows like it was a drastic change. When Dad asked, where were you before? All I saw was this right here. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, so not only did we change states, we changed climates. Just everything about it was very different.
We lost you. Can you hear him, Ricky?
I cannot hear them.
We lost your audio feed.
Oh, are we good or no?
There you are.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was very drastic change moving from Arizona to Kentucky, and it was something that we weren't initially sure exactly where we wanted to be. We did a lot of evaluating, set up a lot of pros and cons for different areas. We would have preferred to stay in Arizona, but a lot of what we wanted to do, the Arizona climate and the Arizona desert, it just wasn't conducive to what we really wanted to do.
So you had kind of a plan before you sold the house, before you even went down that path of where you wanted to be. Like you said, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And even when Paul presented it to me, I'm like, I don't know, Paul. Like, I was in a brand new house, and I'm like, I don't know. And then as we sat down and started to really evaluate stuff, I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Like, why wouldn't we take that plunge? And then when Paul said to me, what if we leave Tucson? That was another one that I'm like, I don't know. That's like really big change for me. But actually, one thing that, oddly enough, that Sunday, after Paul spoke to me and kind of pitched the idea to me, we went to church and our pastor was preaching about getting old and having regrets. And I was like, you know what? I would hate for us to grow old and me look back and have that regret. Like, what if we never took that plunge? What if we never tried it out? I'm like, what's the worst that could happen is us be like, okay, we didn't like that. Let's go back. So that was one of the like light bulb moments for me. It was like, maybe we should try it out.
Yeah, it's been a great adventure. A lot of times I think we get paralyzed by what could happen and a lot of this, but in the back of my mind, I always feel like we can always go back to this system if we wanted to. I could always go back and get a 9-to-5 job if I wanted to. We could always. Tucson, Arizona is going to be there. It's not like you're making such a drastic decision if you don't try something and find out, hey, what the possibilities, what the opportunities are, and just stay where you're at. You would never know.
Paula Wells asked, what did the kids think about the change? Were they old enough to know what was happening? So when did you make this shift?
So we purchased our house in November of 2019. So we set out on the road September 2019, and we kind of did some touring. I will also put in there that 3 years before that, in 2016, we did a scout trip. We went to Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, North Carolina. The job that I was working at was going to shut down the plant in Tucson, Arizona, and relocate to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So when we had been kind of brainstorming different states that we thought we could homestead in, we thought that I may be able to transfer with the job to North Carolina, but we also wanted to check out some different states that were basically in that USDA grow zone, and see if those were also possibilities. So when we came back to,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, so when we came back to this area, we were kind of not familiar with it, but we had a general idea of what we really liked because we did that tour.
Thank you so much, and well-behaved kids.
Listening to you talk, it almost kind of sounds like, you went from one area. It's kind of almost like the westward expansion, except you guys come the other direction. So truly kind of pioneers. You knew what you wanted. You knew the lifestyle that you wanted. You knew the freedom that you wanted. And you kind of went in kind of search of that, and like you said, to do what you did, you had to have confidence in your skill set to say that if this doesn't work out perfectly, it's going to be okay. We're going to survive this. And we can always go back if we have to, but I don't, how many times did you actually think we need to go back? Ever?
None yet. Yeah. None that we have to go back.
Right. So that's what I mean.
There goes those eyebrows again.
Your wife communicates with her eyes. You know that, don't you?
It's true. I have to admit, when we moved here, I didn't realize that we were in where tornadoes are. And I was like, I don't know, Paul, tornadoes. And then summer came, and I was like, ticks. But it was never we got to go back. It was more like, I don't know.
Yeah, the one thing that we're dreading for summer to come is the ticks and bugs.
Kids, what do you think of the move? So you guys were what? You were 8 and 10?
It's just about a year ago.
Yeah, I was 10. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you happy? Are you happy with the move?
Scary. I think it was kind of scary because we were leaving friends and family and just where we knew where we were at. Yeah, it was kind of scary to move to a different place where you didn't know where anything was at.
Yeah.
As when you go into a different state, you're like, where is everything? But we do have friends.
Starting over.
Yeah. Wow.
So what is y'all's favorite part? I want to know two things. Who is the craziest kid? Because the photos that I was reviewing in the email, and okay, all right. Are you the kid with the chicken? Are you the chicken? I don't even know what pose that was. That was you, okay. So,
actually, yeah, with the chicken, it was him. Now that I think about it, he was with the dog, and that's right. He's the one with the chicken.
Yeah, the one with the chicken upside down like this. I don't know what you were doing, but it made for a good thumbnail. So good job. And then what is you guys' favorite part of the farm? I mean, because I know, or the homestead, because I know my kids, of course, they definitely have their favorite parts. Madeline, my 11-year-old, she absolutely loves the goats, and it's goats all day long for her. Patrick really doesn't care as long as he's in tow of someone doing something fun. And then Rick Isaac's just kind of if he could find a dirt pile to to just, completely from head to toe be covered in grains of dirt, he'd be okay. So, what is y'all's favorite parts of the farm?
I like having a rabbit that I can go do and like pet and stuff. And I like having a dog because in Tucson you couldn't have one.
Okay.
I like the chickens because you can interact and just see them grow. And I like the freedom. You don't have to be all cooped up. Yeah, I like walking around the property, and I really like going to the creek. And our dog, he's pretty funny.
I can tell you that our children, before we moved onto the farm, which I always had the availability of going somewhere a larger piece of property. I can tell you that it was nerve-wracking for me in today's society to really let our kids go out of the fence. And I'll tell you a quick story that happened this week. It's actually quite humorous. But before we moved out to the property, I mean, it was nerve-wracking just to allow them out the fence. Now they have 20 acres that they can really go out and explore. And like, you guys said, the freedom is awesome. Being able to go outside and just hang out and, do whatever you're doing, do whatever you want to do within reason, of course, don't have mom's head spinning on a swivel. So my son, we have a school bus.
This is a funny story.
My son, he gets on the school bus and off the school bus every day for school. And he's 9 years old. And so he's not too far away from you guys, so you guys can relate maybe somehow. But he was getting off the school bus and he had said, "Dad, now if you're a parent, you will know exactly where I'm coming from when I'm telling this story." My son says, "Dad, there was this weird vehicle that stopped right in front of the house, and then it slowed down, and then it sped forward, and it stopped at the next road. And by that time, I was inside." As a parent, I'm thinking to myself two things. One, something, they're scoping out the house. And then two, they're doing something they have no business doing while my son's getting off of school. And so my thoughts were, one, go get that thing in the closet. Starts with a G. And two, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to review me some video footage. So we finally get onto the video footage and we're looking. And finally I see the car that my son's talking about. And sure enough, it slows down right at the end of our driveway. And then it pulls forward to the next driveway. And I said, "Son," "you have now put the mailman on my hit list." So,
it's not a typical mail truck. It's one of those contractor trucks. So this guy's driving this old beat up Grand Cherokee that is exactly what he said. It was a minivan. It was kind of grayish blue. Well, that's that Jeep Cherokee that the mailman drives.
Yep.
Yeah, when we first moved here, instead of having a UPS truck, there's this Jeep with a little red orange flag on top of it. And that's our mailman. Yeah.
It's weird. You guys are so used to seeing USPS on the side of a vehicle, and then you move to somewhere rural, and they're sitting in the wrong side of the vehicle, steering with way over here. So I get you. Everything's 4-wheel drive too.
I'm literally crying from laughing.
Well, it was we sat there kind of. At first we weren't seeing anything. We're like, all right, is he embellishing this? And, is he kind of being straight with us? And so we wait. And sure enough, the bus comes, he gets off and he starts walking down the driveway and he's on the sidewalk coming up to the front of the house. And all of a sudden this car really slowly moves into the screen and it stops right at the end of our driveway. Well, that coincidentally is the house across the road's mailbox. So he was he knew what he saw, but he just didn't know what it was. It was funny.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Crazy kid.
So Paul, I looked at your About tab and it says, Southern Kentucky gardening, permaculture site, 8-acre homestead startup. It says full-time RV living.
Yeah.
Was that? Are you still full-time RV living?
Yeah, we are. We do have a house on the property. It's probably a little under 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
And we want to do some additions to it as well as some interior renovation. So we don't want to get into the middle of a construction zone. So we're just kind of
Makes sense.
waiting until we have the finances to get the house really going.
So, and then you talked about you've got some animals. So we've already heard somewhat about. So we got a fan of the rabbits, right?
Yep.
So that's Victoria. She's a fan of the rabbits. And then we got a fan of the chickens, and that's
I love
David.
my own rabbit.
And that's David. So Caspian, what are you a fan of? What animals?
You got to say something.
Yeah. He's like, let me think about this.
So no, I guess not. So now you asked an important question last week on when Hickorycroft Farm was on here, Paul, and I wanted to kind of re-explore that with you a little bit because you asked the question about how do you financially support yourself as a homesteader, and that's a really great question, and I've had that discussion in lots of lives, and I've had people email me even before we started our YouTube channel. When they knew we were doing goats, and we got we do breeding goats, and they would ask us questions about, kind of what's your long-term plan? Because I think most people, once they hear the concept of a homestead, and in their head, that means that you're completely off grid and you're not interacting or working with the rest of the world. And what I find, and this is completely no formal research. I don't know what the statistics are on it, but most people that I know of that call themselves homesteaders have an off farm job, because really the way that I've always kind of viewed homesteading is you're really trying to minimize the footprint that you leave on the earth and be as self-sufficient in that process as you can, so that when things go south, when things go sideways, that you're not part of the mass hysteria that naturally flows from that. So what's your thoughts on that? What does being a homesteader mean to you?
Well, as far as income goes, when we came up with our plan, we made sure that we had enough to live off for the first year minimum. And this might kind of sound strange, but the pandemic and all this stimulus has actually been positive for us because it's given us income that we didn't count on.
Mm-hmm.
So we've taken that and we've taken that stimulus and basically been allowed to prolong that period, so that we're at about 2 years now. So we can, when we came up with that plan, we wanted to be able to build the infrastructure and really get the farm part, or the production as far as animals, plants, get that all going and get that established, so that that was in the works already, and we weren't tying up money. This is one of the reasons that we're waiting on working on the house, is so that we don't have money tied up in the house that could be used to build the farm part, to build the income. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Greg Judy, but Greg Judy is a regenerative farmer that has cows and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So when we moved here, we had no intentions to get sheep. Sheep were like not even on the radar. They were kind of like a maybe, like possible. So when we moved here, we found out our neighbor had sheep. Our neighbor has like 12 sheep, and he's in a small property. I think it's about 6 acres. And so immediately we had a source for purchasing sheep that we knew the background on. So we kind of lined up a couple things. I had been following Greg Judy for a while, and one of our long-term plans is to make sheep profitable and to make that our main source of income. We do have a couple of other income avenue streams. One of them being a plant nursery and a market garden. But at this point in time, we're still building on that. Now, I do take on, and we take on, the kids have also been involved in off-job jobs that include everything from pruning an apple orchard and picking up the sticks that are pruned, which we had been doing this last couple of weeks. There's an apple orchard right across the street from our house. To trimming trees for neighbors, to working on a tobacco farm. And this is all very small scale. It's nothing that's usually more than 5 or 10 hours a week, but these are just different ways that we found to subsidize our income. So even just taking on these little jobs can offset stuff like a cell phone bill. So our main bills are like power, our utilities, and just cost of living, food and clothing and stuff like that. We don't have a mortgage. We were able to save. We were able to save up, like I was telling you before. We were able to save up because we paid off that home, and then when we sold our home, we were able to take that money and purchase this property and not have to worry about a mortgage payment.
Right.
So
kind of like the difference between working to live versus living to work, and
exactly,
the former is absolutely the preferred. I mean, I and my wife have never really kind of had the focus of wanting to. We've never really thought, because I enjoy going out and not doing things. Now, we work together actually, so we spend most of the day together. But sometimes it's helpful just to have some space, and so we've never really thought about this as going to be our only source of income. But hooray for you if you can do that. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I mean, to me, we've always kind of looked at it as we don't want our farm to cost us money. We want it to be revenue neutral. Right. We're not there yet by any stretch, but we are with some of the stuff. We will be with our fruits and vegetables. We are with our protein sources right now. So we could literally live on what we produce if we chose to do that. We still got some room to grow with making sure the goats are revenue neutral, but our chickens more than pay for themselves today. And there was a comment on here from someone, who was that, Rick, that they would like to get some chickens. I can't, and he flashed it up. Chickens is really not a hard thing to get into, depending really the biggest obstacle I think for folks getting chickens is probably going to be your zoning requirements. I mean, if you live in a city, so the best life. So, given your little thumbnail there, it looks like you're out in the country. So you've got chickens. You're looking at something else. So, that's not hard. You just need to understand why you're getting what you're getting. I was watching Kinfolk Farm of Georgia, one of their videos this week, and it's not unlike many other videos where folks have taken their hogs to market or to the slaughterhouse and having it processed. We just have not made that step yet, because it's just at this point one more thing that we have to manage in addition to our work. And so you've got to figure out what works best for you. I mean, we raise our goats, and what we've done in addition to our full-time jobs is that has become a main source of our protein now. It's not only our chickens and our eggs, but also goat meat. And people say, how do you eat goat? And it's surprisingly tasty. People, it's good. It's a good source. So, so I applaud you. That's awesome. So I was watching your live stream from 1/10/21, and it said that you said that one of your sons is a coin collector, and that would be Caspian, the one that's non-committal about which animal he likes best, correct?
So,
Yep. He's a little coin collector.
So
That's what
what's that say? So Free Handling Made, our goal is to keep up pastures. We continue to lease them out to smaller farms that need more land. See, that's awesome. I mean, you guys are figuring it out, Free Handling Made, to be able to help others in the process of helping yourself. So that's an awesome deal for all parties involved. So I asked Caspian earlier, what kind of coins do you collect? Do you like coins, like monetary currency, or do you like just medallions, stuff like that?
I collect the United States quarters. I usually collect quarters.
Okay.
I don't collect dimes or nickels that much. I like the quarters and the internationals, but I mostly collect the United States quarters.
Do you have any currency from other countries?
Yes, I do. I have Canada's quarter and dime. How can I have a nickel?
well, even for Christmas, he went on eBay and got a little
Yeah,
what was that called?
1 pound of international coins.
it was like
Oh,
100.
wow.
Yeah. So he's always looking. I have to like keep him off my purse because I'll need change and I'll open it. I'm like, Caspian, where's my quarters?
So hold on. So we're going to come back to you, Caspian, I promise. So we've got a question here. It says, this is from Ashley's Allotment Diary. You're allowed to slaughter your own animals on a homestead. In the UK, all animals have to go to a licensed slaughterhouse. Well, you can kind of do whatever you want on your own homestead if you're doing it for yourself, Ashley's Allotment Diary. So, I mean, we do not process our own goats. We send them to a processor, but we process our own chickens. And once we move up to hogs, then we'll be sending that to the processor too. It's not something that I couldn't do. It's just something that we choose not to do because, somebody that does processing for a living, they're not going to waste any of that, any of the meat. You're going to get back, probably maximizing effect. Some people would, are perfectly comfortable doing their own processing. We just choose not to. We do our own chickens and stuff like that. But
yeah, the big thing is also finding a processor that, which, we kind of luck out because we're in a part of Florida that is full of rednecks. And so not use this derogatory term, but they love to hunt. And so there is taxidermy everywhere you go. And there is also your butchers that do mainly deers. But if you drop off hogs, chickens, a cow, a deer, it doesn't matter. And then we also have, USDA certified slaughterhouses too, correct, Dad?
they're harder to find though. I mean, there's one up in South Georgia and one in Lake City.
So, but yeah, the chickens are relatively easy. But pigs and cow or beef and all that kind of stuff, there's just so much meat on those animals, and we just have zero interest in, if we raise up an animal to harvest to eat, we have zero interest in wasting any of that. So
Caspian, let me go back to your coin collection. So I'm going to send because whenever you come onto the live stream, everybody gets a t-shirt. So would you rather have a coin or some coins, or would you rather have a t-shirt?
Would you rather have a coin or a t-shirt?
A coin.
All right. I'm going to send you, so everybody else gets a t-shirt unless you like coins too. Because, here's what a lot of people, and probably nobody but my family knows about me. I've got I'm not a coin collector, but I enjoy collecting coins, if that makes any sense.
You're a collector of a few things.
Yeah, but I like coins. I like the artwork that is involved in coins and looking at, because maybe you'll agree with me. that a coin is kind of a reflection of the culture from where that coin comes. Would you agree? You know what that means? Yeah. So that's the one thing that I really like about coins and medallions and those kinds of things is that, particularly the state quarters. And that's I like the fact that you like those because they try to make each state quarter reflective of the culture of that state or what that state is famous for. So that's pretty cool. That's cool. I'm not going to send you any quarters though, because you probably got all of them. I don't know what you don't have. So I'm going to send you something.
Hickory Croft Farm said, our son wants to let you know to watch for a Canadian coin with a blue dove and a green turtle. It is his favorite Canadian coin.
Oh, really?
So,
so I'm gonna communicate with your parents, Caspy, and I'm gonna get you a coin. Everybody else just gets a plain old T-shirt. You get a coin. Okay.
Well, thank you.
But that's only because you came on here and you didn't hide, because a lot of kids want to hide behind their parents, and you guys have been awesome. So I appreciate you coming on here and talking to us tonight.
He's gonna be looking at the mailbox every day.
Well, give me some time. It ain't coming that quickly.
Right.
All right, folks. Any other questions? Any other questions for Paul, V, or the kids?
I think we've pretty much caught all of them that have come in. So if you guys have not gone over and checked out Conrad's Homestead, one of the moderators, Paul, you know what? I looked over and there you go. Paul has already dropped the link. Head on over to Conrad Homestead. Don't just subscribe and then leave. Head on over to their channel. Subscribe to their channel. Show them some love. They got a ton of good quality content that, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you want to learn something new. Head on over to their channel, binge watch some videos, some playlists, and leave them some comments, some likes. They're awesome. This has been really fun. So,
all right, Paul or V, any closing comments?
Thank you so much for having us. We've been looking forward to it, and we've enjoyed it a lot. So thank you so much for the love, the shout outs. We greatly appreciate it.
Well,
thanks for the opportunity. We do really appreciate it.
Well, we enjoyed you having on. Enjoyed meeting the family and kids. Keep up the good work.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right.
All right, guys.
Care. All right. Good night.
Bye.
Paul, I'll be in touch with you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. All right. So that was fun. So next week we got on deck is Lee's Arkansas bound Keto Homestead with with Jess on 224. Then starting in March is Sweetie's Creek Farm. That'll be kind of a cool one because they will be live streaming from their homestead in Australia. From down under, and then Paula Wells on 310, and then Flavors and Textures on 317. And I'm kind of seeing this emerging trend now as we kind of come into spring. Everybody getting their gardens and starts up ready to be put into the ground pretty quickly. So that's kind of the theme that I saw in Paula's videos over the last couple of weeks, and Flavors and Textures as well. So as we've been talking the last few weeks. We're still kind of contemplating. We're probably going to be reorganizing this get to know them section or segment a little bit. And the reason being is that when we started this segment, we were, we were a brand new channel. We were under, I think when we first started this segment, we were around 200 subs. And if we got 10 people in here, we were just absolutely elated. And now we're getting 25, 35. We've had as high as low 40s in here at a time. And we want to be able, the whole purpose that we started this segment in the first place was to try to help small channels as we were helped when we were 50, 100, 150, just starting out on this YouTube journey. And we want to be able to kind of help a larger group of people, a larger group of smaller channels, both not only in exposure, but also in information and providing good quality sound information, topically related information. And we're still tinkering with how we're going to do this, but as we sit right now, 317 we got flavors and textures. I might add some more on to the end of that, or we may come out with our new format the week after that. But one way or another, we're trying to help as many channels as we can in terms of general awareness, but at the same time, kind of being able to help folks along the way. Up until this point, we've always limited our get to know them segments to just under 1,000 people. And, we're thinking we're probably going to bump that up, and it may go as high as 2,000, because some of my best friends on YouTube now are still within that window. But given the rules that we've been applying up to this point, I can't bring them on. And I would love to be able to do that. So there'll be more to come in the coming weeks, or more to talk about in the coming weeks regarding that. We still haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do. We've got some ideas. We're working on that. But there will be more information forthcoming. So
we also do some like return guests and all that kind of stuff too.
And we were thinking about doing something with our mods and doing things that are thematic, meaning on a particular topic, and having experts, subject matter experts on a particular topic come in and talk about something, and really smaller channels to help them get that information out, and hopefully help build their subscriber base, but be able to kind of reach out to more people. I mean, I have not been silent on, what Tim over at Ridge Life has done with his Watch 'em Grow segment on Tuesdays. I would love to be able to do something like that. And Tim said, go ahead, steal my thunder, do whatever you want to do, but I don't feel right doing that. I think what he does on that Tuesday night it's a lot of work. If you haven't ever watched Tim's Tuesday night Get to Know Him segment on Ridge Life, go over and check that out. Particularly if you're a smaller channel, get in there early, because he will queue your videos up and kind of premiere them. It's a great way to get a lot of exposure. I was in there the other night or yesterday, and I think at one point he had almost 70, if not 70 people in that live stream. And it's a lot of work though on his end. I don't know, if you haven't done live streams yet, it's tough for us just to do this, with two people, because I still miss a lot of comments, and that kind of drives me batty. We want to be able to organize this segment so that I can respond more one-on-one to people instead of getting stuck kind of in a dialogue with our guests. Either way I go, I'm going to kind of give one or the other short thrift, and we want to be able to fix that. So we'll more information forthcoming on that, what we're going to do to reorganize that.
I like this right here, Ashley's Allotment Dairy. Watching you American folks gives me a new perspective in the world, and that is cool.
Well, Ashley, I have, I don't know that how a lot of us American folks that come across on these on the particularly the homesteading channels. The homesteading channels that I have found on YouTube are a very independent-minded, very independent-minded folk that do not want to be constrained by a lot. They want to do their own thing. They don't want to be dependent upon the system. So I don't know that watching homesteading channels is probably a good representation of American culture, because you're probably getting a very independent-minded, biased perspective. But in my mind, that is the best way. So if you like what you hear, then you're probably going to hear a lot more of it on all the other homesteading channels, because I think that's one of the kind of common themes that binds a lot of homesteaders, if you want to refer to them as that, together, is that they don't want to be dependent upon others for their own existence. They want to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. They want to be able to use their hands to make, craft, and restore things that most of the American population's got to go to Walmart or some other store to buy, purchase, or borrow. And that's just not what most homesteaders are into. They're not consumers, they're creators. Not creators in reference to YouTube, but creators of their own path in life. And for that, I like Sonny's place. That's homesteaders are rebels. That's a great way to put it. Absolutely perfect way to put it. Is that they're rebels. They don't follow the system. They don't follow what everybody else does. And I think that that's a great way to live, because
I think Drop's Family Garden was trying to say, I just don't do neighbors. And if that is what you are referring to, then yes, I totally agree. Again, I don't know if that's what you were trying to convey, but if that is, then yes, that is.
So Drops, if that's what you're trying to say, when we bought our first, so we've got, our property is 20 acres, and it was broken up when we bought it into 5 10-acre lots. And we bought our first 10 acres, and we come over here and kind of looked around now, and this is 10 acres. Now it's a longer stretch of property than it is wide, but nonetheless, you know, a 10-acre lot that's probably, I don't know, probably 300 yards across, maybe, in terms of property. We come over here and looked at that 300 yards wide, and we're like, yeah, this is too close, because we had neighbors across the road, and we would have had neighbors up there. So then we went and got another 10 acres adjacent, and we put our house and farm right in the middle of that. So,
So actually, this is a great depiction of what Papa was just talking about, where Drop says, I just don't like neighbors. And then, you know, I guarantee you, we're having an absolute blast in this live, you know, talking and having fun and interacting with each other. But a lot of us in the homesteading community in the United States can really relate in that one thing. You know, you'll have some urban or city folks that have a very small piece of property that do like urban farming, but for the most part, people in the homesteading community all have that in common. We don't like to do neighbors. You know, we don't do neighbors very well. So there was several. Yeah, Homestead Smith. My one single neighbor is amazing.
right. I don't mind having amazing neighbors. It's the
Lori's
unamazing
world. Neighbors are awful.
It's the unamazing ones that I don't care for.
Kid family. Amen. Yeah. So
I love it. All right. So Rick, we dropped the merch link. So I think Rick is on the cusp. I know we've been saying this for months. I think he's on the cusp of actually designing a new shirt, because he got a new toy today.
I did. Hold on. Stop.
I wasn't planning on talking about it.
I want. Go ahead. You know what? Continue. I'm going to pull it up because it's fun. It's a very cool thing to show.
Go ahead.
So, so this is it is a designer tablet. It is a like digital designer tablet. So more or less, I can sit there and draw on a pad, and it show up on my computer, kind of like sort of a mouse. So I did just playing around with it today after I got back from work.
Boone, I bet you're an awesome neighbor too, and I don't think we're not intending to be neighbor bashing. It's just
No, not at all.
Independence was the theme of the night, so if we that's what we're talking about.
Yep, that's showing up. All right, so this is pretty cool. This is something that I was working on after I got back from work today, and it's all with that designer tablet. And this is completely by hand. So that is Rodney, our rooster. And it's pretty cool. So it's more or less exactly like drawing on paper, except instead of drawing on paper, you're drawing on your computer. So anyway, yes, there will be much more designs coming out there'll be much more designs coming out in the future. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to show that off. Go ahead, Papa. I dropped the link already.
All right. So let's give away either a $10 Amazon gift card or a shirt. And the question, and this might not be easy because I don't know anyone. I think most people that are in here are going to scratch their head because the ones that would know this, hey, Paragon Ridge Ranch, welcome. I think the ones that would know this are not in here, I don't think, or at least he's not been vocal tonight. All right, here's the question. What did I buy LaLa for Christmas? Now, there's going to be some women in here that are going to want to like throw a brick at me, but trust me, it's
probably not in this.
It's what she wanted.
Probably not in this live stream. No, maybe if you were to go to another one, if you tell them why you bought it for her, then they'll sit there and be like,
the best life nails it with a cement mixer. So I can only imagine you know this because you watched the chicken feed mixing video.
No, Conrad, the creek feeder is what they just got done making. The cement mixer is what Papa bought her. And it's kind of funny because you would think any normal woman, you buy her a cement mixer for Christmas and she's looking at you like you're insane. And it was kind of funny. Here's another story. When Papa gave her this cement mixer, I don't think Papa was even sure whether she was going to like it or not, because he asked her about 100 times, "Are you sure you like your present? Are you sure you like your present? Is this a good present?"
You know, we've been married since 1986. So what is that? That's 35 years we've been married. And it's like, so you can get away with a lot now that you can get away after 35 years of marriage, that there's in the first 7 or 8, you're never, ever going to get away with things that will be held against you for the rest of your life. And the men out there listening to this knows exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the example. So our very first Christmas together, LaLa says, "I want a bike." So in my mind, that message is very clear. I said, "Well, what do you want a bike for?" She says, I want a bike so I can exercise." I said, well, in my man brain, what I heard was she wants an exercise bike. So I got her an exercise bike for Christmas, and I have heard about that every Christmas for the last 35 years. So a bike to go exercise is not the same as an exercise bike. But in the man brain, I heard exercise bike. So I was really worried about the cement mixer because she told me cement mixer. So there was no mistaking that I was getting her a cement mixer. And she actually said she liked the cement mixer. So I was happy. And she basically, so it used to take her 3-4 hours every Saturday morning to mix feed, because we mix all of our own feed. We don't buy it. Sonny's Place, oh no, is absolutely right. So that's my man brain at work. Will it grow a rubber boot? Who else?
That said, "Oh no, Rick, no."
The wife reads you the riot and lists everything you ever did wrong. Absolutely. Every Christmas I hear about the exercise bike. Oh no, Rick, no. So yeah, I just got her what she wanted. She said she wanted a cement mixer. I got her. So she went from 3 to 4 hours every Saturday morning mixing feed to she got it done in about 45 minutes this last weekend, because she
filled them from the bottom to the top.
So she's filling a 55-gallon barrel of feed once a week. And so she got done with that in about 45 minutes this last Saturday. So she's pretty excited about her cement mixer.
Well, she's not even really doing the 55-gallon, the 50-gallon drums anymore.
Yeah,
she's literally putting them directly from the 50-gallon, because she's got the sunflower seed and all that stuff. She mixes it into those little 5-gallon buckets and takes 5-gallon buckets over the HD 50s or 50 HDs, 500 HDs, whatever they are. Takes them over there and dumps them. And like I said, she filled 3 of those. I don't think she filled the kids, but she did 2 adult does. She did both of theirs, and she did like half of the kids' feeder. So that was very impressive. That was the day. That was the day when I, quote unquote, was not sick.
Paula Wells, I see that you said you're quite a ways behind. Click the live link. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is there such a link?
It's not a link. It's a you go to the YouTube when you're on YouTube, just open it up like you're going to move the dial from left to right, fast forward, slow down, or rewind, and press live.
All right. We'll figure that out for next week. So, last weekend we let out the cats. The cats, we got a rat problem. I've been trying all these different rat solutions. None of them have worked. Not even the last invention that Rick put up. So the video forthcoming on that. But we were able to finally let the cats out. So we got 2 months ago a litter of 4 feral cats, 2 male, 2 female from the same litter. And we basically went out there. We handled them every day, kind of get them used to us. And we finally let them out last weekend. So they're still kind of acclimating out there. But there will be some videos forthcoming on the cats. I haven't found any rat carcasses yet, so I don't know if they've gotten anything, but it's coming. Sonny's Place, have a good evening. Thanks for stopping by.
Conrad Homestead said, can you modify the cement mixer to be powered by an exercise bike?
I'm not going there. You're gonna get me in trouble. I'm never voluntarily mentioning an exercise bike for the rest of my living days. That will never be brought up again. So here's a funny story. So I went out in the barn yesterday, and I was confident because I reset the CO2 trap again in the barn because I know there's one in there, and I refilled my newest contraption. You guys haven't even seen video on that. It's basically a mix of chicken feed and concrete mix, and they're eating it, but I don't know that they're dying because I don't see dead rats anywhere. So I walk out in the barn yesterday and I hear this. If anybody's ever heard little rat feet running along wood, scratching sound, that's what I heard. So I turned my light on and I walk down there where I heard the scratching noise, and I look up and here's a rat looking at me from the top of my barn wall over the metal ledge. And he's just looking at me like, you ain't gonna get me, sucker. And I'm like, I'm gonna get you. And I'm tempted to go take one of the mice. I just said, sucker. You ain't gonna get me, sucker. So I'm tempted to take all 4 cats, put a bowl of feed in the barn, and let them go after these little.
Hold on, sorry. Best life. If you need, preferably, we like to reach out to you guys after you win. That way we don't have multiple people saying, hey, I won. The best thing that you could do is just make sure that you have your email linked in the about section of your channel. If you don't have that, then yes, we've got it wrote down saying that you won the giveaway. But yeah, just email us. It's LaLa@LaLaFarm.com.
Got it.
All right.
So yeah, I'm going to get the mouse one way or another, and then, or if the cats don't get them first. So, and then Monday yesterday, Rick did the the creep feeder and all that stuff. And what's funny is that there's so many of those comments on that video from Monday that, they didn't see the creep feeder. They didn't see LaLa or myself putting in the creep feeder, the hard work. All they saw was Magnus and how Magnus stole the show. And Magnus did steal the show. And for those of you that are not regulars on the live, Magnus is our little bottle baby that we have since adopted as he's going to be the new farm mascot. So it'll be Magnus the baby boar cross goat.
That's better than what Madeline had suggested, or Chelsea had even said. Chelsea was like, what all is involved with a goat being inside? Can you train it to go potty outside? I'm like, you are crazy, woman.
That's just not going to happen.
That's what I told her. I was like, there's no way that no. He's small now.
So I want to close out after this. I don't know if Jules is still in here. But we had Jules and I think Amy from Craig's Family Homestead last week. I'd asked the question on their live, what is a good tree or fruit tree, either fruit tree or small bush tree that I could put in about a 12-foot tall by 12-foot wide space. And the recommendation, two of the recommendations I got was figs and blueberries, and I found a source for both of those. So here is my latest question to you. So freehandly made Magnus is the superstar. That's my point. Everybody saw Magnus. They didn't see LaLa and I, or the creep feeder. So I was on Silhouette Parks Farm live stream. I get on there every Tuesday morning as I'm driving to work, listening to them. And Adam and Nettie were talking about dragon fruit. And I've never heard of I've heard of it, but I've never really piqued my interest to go look at it. And so I got to work and I started pulling up dragon fruit. And I want a source. I need to find a source, a good source for dragon fruit cuttings. So if anyone in here knows of anyone, or if they have dragon fruit, and I would be willing to buy cuttings from you. I'd like the white one and I would like a red one for dragon fruit, because I want to try I want to grow 2 dragon fruit trees, a red one and a white one. So
I don't know if I've ever had like a dragon fruit.
So MB Harris,
I've had dragon fruit mix and stuff. What does dragon fruit taste like, Dad?
I don't know. I've never had it, but Adam
have you had?
No, Adam and Nettie convinced me that I should get one, and because I'm very easily influenced by other gardeners, particularly things that I've never tried, I will try it. They had, so if you go on to Silhouette Park Farm, Adam's got three different types, and he was kind of had the white ones on that he was eating, and they just basically cut the fruit in half and they just start eating it out with a spoon. And I'm like, yeah, that looks really, really good. Is it like pomegranate where like you crack it open? No, it's like they kind of refer to it as a gelatin consistency with lots of seeds in it. So I don't know. So if anyone knows of a source for dragon fruit, I would be more than happy to purchase 2 cuttings from you, preferably a red one and a white one.
It tastes like fire. Well, that doesn't sound appetizing.
I like the challenge. I like hot food, so if that's the case. So I think that's a play.
I don't know. I think it's a play on dragon fruit.
So it's delicious, but stained. To try to grow down this end of Australia, they are lucky. Well, I'm like, it says when I look at the USDA hardiness on it, it says it'll grow at zone 9 and below, and we're in 8B. So I'm going to give it a whirl if I can find them. I can find some cuttings on Amazon or Etsy, I think it was, but I don't know if that's respectable. Are you sub to Pete? No, I'm not. Do they have dragon fruit?
I got it, Dad.
I want some dragon fruit.
Nearest.
The one we tried was bland and didn't have a taste. Freehandly made. See, but I don't know that's. I can get that because a lot of the times you get fruit from the store in the States, and depending on what season it is, it's absolutely horrible. And I would never try it. Like some really great looking oranges you get in the off season, they're horrible. The best time, in my opinion, is in Florida. You go to the store around about March of every year, and that's when the strawberries out of Plant City, Florida begin to come out. There is, in my opinion, the best strawberries in the world that I've had come out of Plant City, Florida in the spring. They are phenomenal.
I actually got some strawberries last year. It was right after I started doing what I'm doing now with the prison. That came out of Stark, Bradford County, here in Florida, and I don't think I've ever had strawberries that sweet. I mean, they were absolutely perfect. And I actually I drove by there the other day to go to Walmart, and unfortunately, because it's a pick your own strawberry farm, and we went to go drive by it yesterday on our way to Walmart to pick some stuff up for the shop, and lo and behold, they've sold out to a truck stop. So
wow,
it's unfortunate.
All right, folks, we're going to close this up. We've gone a little bit longer than we generally do, but appreciate, which we got 21 folks still in here. We appreciate you being in here more than you possibly know. And we really, really appreciate the fact that you spent your evening with us. And you know, we will chat with you next week again. Remember, we have, who do we got? We got Lee's Arkansas bound going to be on here next week. So without further ado, folks, we're going to tell you good night. Always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. Good night, folks.
Bye.